Yo, what's going on? What's going on? It's Sunday night. It's Sunday. Yo, we bounced back quick. We did a Thursday night. Now it's Sunday night. You know, just like your church has auxiliary bishops, I have auxiliary deacons. I know what they do. So we're gonna have a conversation tonight. We're gonna talk about reparations. We're gonna talk about the GOAT, Bill Russell. May he rest in peace. Nichelle Nichols also passed away, famous black actress, first black actress really on television on Star Trek. That she starred in their own show. So she passed away today. And then we're just going to keep it. I guess we're going to, I don't know what else we're going to talk about. We got a couple of guests coming by tonight also. So, welcome aboard the trip, the Deacon Board, the Sunday night, our group chat, Going Wild edition. What's up, Wiz, the Biz? What's going on with you, brother?
Nothing much, brother. What's going on with you guys on this lovely Sunday?
Oh man, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. This is your first time on the podcast, even though you're always watching. You're watching every week, saying, "Yo, when I'm getting on, when you gonna bring the auxiliaries on?" I got you on tonight.
All right, appreciate that.
And then we got Sean back. Sean's been on a few times. Sean, what's up with the glasses, bro?
Man, I'm 50 now. My doctor said I had to get some glasses, bro. So
Word. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm legally old now, man. I'm legally old, man. The doctor was like, yeah. And not only, man, it was like, you need the ones with the double zones. I'm like, really? So you're going to give me bifocals out the back? That's what we're doing?
So I have trifocals. So I can look up, down, and then straight across. So readers for distance and then for sharpness on the computer. So they do 3 and their transitions because I'm too lazy.
These are my computer ones, right? Exactly.
Right.
I got 3 sets, man. So
everything gets
old, your eyes get older too.
Wayne went and got LASIK. He was like, I ain't putting on no glasses. He too cool for glasses. He went and got the LASIK.
I couldn't drive for a while, man. It was getting that bad. My night vision was so impaired, man. I had to do something like quick. And I didn't want to, I didn't want to wear the 4 eyes. So
come on, man. Come on. See how you do?
No disrespect,
that was all disrespect. That was all disrespect in there. All disrespect.
Come on, bro. You can see without those glasses, man.
You know what? I can see okay. It's like I can look at my computer. It's not as sharp as I like it to be. So it's really for sharpness on the computer. Yeah. When I put them on, it's definitely a lot sharper. That's why I get these joints on. So listen, y'all, look, our group chat is absolutely off the chain. But this morning we were having a conversation about reparations. What it means and really who should get it. And then the thing that I ask is, do we really want it? Because if we get it, I'm gonna start here and then I'm gonna let y'all handle this topic. Just give me your opinions on it. If we get it, it's going to come with a catch. So what's the catch going to be? Is it going to be obvious for us to catch it before we make a mistake and accept something that we shouldn't accept? So Sean, I'm gonna start with Sean. What do you think on that topic of reparations?
Yo, here's my biggest problem with reparations, man. Everybody's got them but us. You put Asian Americans into internment camps during World War II, and then you let them out and you give them reparations, man. It's like last year, Asian Americans started getting killed, because there's this hate against them because, this COVID was a Chinese disease. And then you write a, anti-Asian hate bill. Where's our anti-Asian hate bill? You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody can get something but us, and then they blame us for everything. It's kind of like, we're going to give you affirmative action, but you destroyed Black Wall Street.
Right.
You destroyed so many Black neighborhoods through like here in Charlotte, Dante, this, or here in North Carolina. We got rid of several Black neighborhoods when they created I-277 through the middle of Charlotte.
Brooklyn. Was that Brooklyn? It was Brooklyn here, right?
They destroyed old Brooklyn, right? In Durham, they destroyed everything when they brought the Durham Freeway. It was Black neighborhoods it went through. So it's like you destroy so much stuff. You found a way to take a whole bunch of land for us. You found a way that every time we would get something, you take it from us. And then now, if you decide to ever provide reparations, you're going to put a caveat and say, well, this is all we're going to give you. We're going to get rid of every other program that works. Understand that through the New Deal, welfare and food stamps and all that stuff, that wasn't designed for Black people.
No, but now
that's what Black people got. So it's funny how stuff that wasn't designed for us, that we're not the primary people use it. You claim that's reparations. You claim that affirmative action was reparations, but the biggest benefit of that was white women.
Correct.
So I ain't got no problem with somebody forgiving some student loans. I have a problem with child's tax credits, but I also believe there's some other things you need to give. But I think student loans is a first start. And that's whether you do it for just black people, you do it across the board. I think you should get rid of federal student loans. You should forgive all of them. You know, you're talking about $1.2 trillion, but get rid of it. And why you should get rid of it? Because you gave a tax credit to all the wealthy 4 years ago. As a single dude with no kids, my kid's grown now, but I don't get the child tax credit. I never got the child's tax credit the entire time my son was young. Child support is not tax deductible, but every parent gets to write off their children. You know, everybody gets something. Student loans is fair. I say get rid of student loans is your first sense of reparations, but make it across the board so you can't just say you gave it to black people.
All right. Wiz, what's your take on it?
Here it is. First of all, I echo the same sentiments that Brother Sean just made, but here's the gist of it all. This country was founded and built on, you know, the free labor of black people.
Right.
You know, and they also say that, you know, everyone who came over here came from Africa, which we know that was false. There were black people already on this land who happened to mix in with the slaves that were brought over. So it's like the brother said, all these other groups, you know, get reparations, but us. And then when the conversation comes up with us, everyone has all these loopholes and there has to be studies. They don't study what happens to other people. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother mentioned with the Asians in the World War II, after those internment camps, they started cutting those checks. You know what I'm saying? You got immigration. And here's the thing, just because we say we want to get what's owed to us does not mean we want you to stop giving things to other groups. We just want what's due to us. It was promised to us. Correct. You know what I'm saying? The whole 3 acres and a mule, that was decades ago, and we still never got it.
It was 40. Don't short my shit.
You know what I mean? Decades.
Don't short me. Yeah. No, it was. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. So now the question is, should it go to everyone that claims that they're black, or should it be for what we call foundational black or African descendants of slavery, if you will?
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me just see. There has to be a level of explanation that can decide who gets it or not. What I say is, if you can trace back your lineage through 1865, which a lot of people can. I know quite a few people who, you know, my great grandmother, you know, was born in the late 1800s. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't that long ago.
No,
but
it's not.
You know, when you get all of these other groups who come over and they've faced their little challenges and stuff that they've done in their homeland, like in the Caribbean, you know, from the diaspora, you know, those are separate issues that they need to take up with their government there. But the people here who suffered and built this nation from the ground up without compensation needs to be compensated for that. And there's no time frame on that. You know what I'm saying? If you can go and put people in prison from stuff that they've done back in the 1920s, you know, hey, you can go put Bill Cosby in jail for stuff that he did 50 years ago, supposedly. You know, it seems when it gets to us, everybody has all of these questions. And the people that have these questions, what trips me out is it don't even concern them.
Right.
So why are you getting upset over us finally going after what really should have been given to us a century ago?
I'm going to tell you why, though. Because America is a nation of the zero-sum game. Mm-hmm. Their whole philosophy is anything I give to you takes from me. Right. Even if that's not accurate, that's the mindset they have. You know, it's never a, you know, one thing that used to always confuse me was Congress. Congress used to always confuse me because it was always like the Democrats want this and the Republicans want this. And they would always say this part here, this part here, this part here, this part here. And I was always, as a kid, I used to always say, well, why don't they write along on what they agree on and then try to work the rest of the stuff out? But they're like, no, that's too easy and that makes too much sense, because their whole philosophy is anything I give to Wiz, Sean is lost. And that's a bad thing. And here's the thing about that. America has an orange, right? They got an orange. And Wiz wants the orange and Sean wants the orange, right? We both can have an orange because Wiz wants the orange for some orange zest to make a cake, and I want the orange juice to drink. We still can have an orange, but America thinks if I give him the zest, I done gave up something, even though I only want the juice. And that's the problem with it. That's the problem with us getting something. And Dante, to your earlier question about, what would be the caveat if they give reparations? Let's look at how they did Native Americans. They said, okay, your reparations are we're going to put you on reservation, but we're going to give you casinos. But first of all, in order to get a casino and to get anything as a Native American, you must be a federally recognized tribe. Correct. Now, we know in North Carolina, the Lumbee tribe has been here for 400 years. They're still not a recognized tribe. Even though the University of Pembroke was set up at the time, Pembroke State was set up for Native Americans. So you set up a university for Native Americans, but you don't recognize them as a tribe, so they get no federal benefits. So you can't get you can't get any type of Native American benefits. You can't have a casino. You can't do anything unless you're federally recognized. Then you can only build a casino on their land, of course. And even though you must employ a certain amount of Native Americans, the fact is most of them have to be in the low skill jobs. They don't have to be in any executive positions.
Correct.
So you give them a reparation of a casino, but then all the big money goes to somewhere else because the corporation has that money.
Right. The corporation gets the money.
Americans on there are full of alcoholism and low education and that kind of stuff because you don't give them social programs to help them as well. So maybe I'm kind of slow, but that's the way they'll do those reparations. If they gave us something, they would give you something with a caveat to say, well, we're going to give you $1 million, hypothetically speaking, but you must spend $850,000 of it on this, and this stuff that don't build your community. So you'll end up losing it.
And to add on that, how you said the recognized tribes, those Native American tribes. See, the thing is with us, we've always been reclassified. Back when my grandmother was born, well, I'll go with my great grandmother. It said Negro on her birth certificate. Then when you go another 30 years later, it may just say Black on it. And then after that, now you got African American. So they're always remixing and reclassifying us, which also throws a monkey wrench in the whole thing. Because if you can't agree upon, a distinct lineage and who you are to be, called for this thing to get reparations, I mean, who do you go to? Because there's so many people confused on what to call themselves, so that's another thing that we got there. You got politics involved in it. People have hangups over different types of religious beliefs or what have you. So
it's a beast of a conversation to have.
Absolutely.
This is what. So and I'm showing on the screen right now. This is what Robert Johnson came up with. Now, look, we all know how the Black community has a love-hate relationship with Bob Johnson. I love how Fox News put him up there as Robert Johnson, BET founder. But, we know we all have a love-hate relationship with him. But they're talking about a $350,000 one-time cash payment. They're saying that 42 million African-American eligible descendants. So they put the word descendants in there because that means that you have to be able to trace your lineage back to slavery.
It's like Wiz said.
Has to go back to slavery. So at least up through 1865 that you have to be able to chase your lineage back to. Now the calculation is based on income, education, savings, and home ownership. I don't know what that calculation is. I might have to dig deep into what he actually means by that calculation, but it's going to cost $14.7 trillion for his plan. $14.7 trillion. So my question is, hypothetically, is $350,000 enough for what this country did and what our ancestors sacrificed as repayment for slavery?
Let's look at one example. Because Dante, you and I talked about this a couple months ago. You remember the family who who owned the beach in California, and they took the beach from them years ago, and then their family just got their back.
That's right. He's right. It's right by his house.
Yeah. Now, let's say that beach was only gone for 30 years. We know it was gone twice that, but let's say it was only gone away from their family for 30 years. Think of the amount of lost revenue from a beach for 30 years and beachfront property for 30 years. Just think of the revenue from that for one family. Now, you take into account how many families own stores and those stores was burned down or beat or robbed or looted or whatever, taken from them. Let's look at people who own farmland. Because remember, black farmers just won a lawsuit like 10 years ago now. 10 years ago, stating that the U.S. Department of Agriculture had discriminated against them in loans and grants over the course of 80 years. So if they discriminated against them, think of how many black farmers lost their equipment, lost their farms, lost their land, lost their homes over the course of those 80 years that the U.S. Department of Agriculture was discriminated against them. And I'm just looking at the wealth generation that people have lost in all these years. Now, let's look at 350,000. Dante, you know I'm transparent. You know what I bought from. You know what I paid for my house. So that's slightly more than what I paid for my house, right? Think though, if my son, if I had this house 60 years ago, and my as a great grandparent had this house, and then gave it to his grandson, and the wealth that you can build, because the things that we have seen in other nationalities do. They're able to give their children $50,000 for a down payment on a house. They're able to pay off their college to pay their college tuition just off of home equity. They're able to invest off of the home equity. This is all the money that we've lost for generation and generation and generation and generation. You say $350,000 is enough to cover that for the people that have lost generational wealth after generational wealth? Because see, people always say on all these memes and stuff on Facebook and Instagram, I'm building generational wealth. Generational wealth isn't built off this one generation. Generational wealth was built so many years ago, and you continue to build and foster and grow that. Yes, my son is going to get this house, and we'll pass that on to him if he wants it, and he can sell it, buy it, sell and invest money, whatever he wants to do with it. But when you got generation on generation on generation on generation, $1,000 100 years ago is now $80,000, $90,000, just from interest going on it. We're not even talking about investing that and growing and buying land and all that other stuff. So you think $350 is worth what, 400 years of slavery, and then another 70 years of Jim Crow, and then right now, Dante, last month, 2 months ago, you and I were talking about the fact that Wells Fargo was doing two things. One was doing ghost interviews for black people. So. Yep. And then the second thing we were talking about how a black man with the same credit score, same income, same socioeconomic status wasn't getting loans from Wells Fargo as well. So we're still dealing with the same stuff.
We're dealing with the same stuff all along. So what's going to really change? See, because throwing money at this situation while normally I'm a proponent for running me my money, I don't know if money is going to be the ultimate solution, right? Is it going to be the ultimate solution for what is really needed for our culture, for our people?
If it's not money, then what is it? If it's not money,
that's the problem. I don't know. That's the issue. I don't know.
So there has to be a start point, and this is just the first. This is just the first ball that's been thrown out there. You can't really place a dollar amount on what our people went through. There is no set dollar amount for that. But that conversation and that ball has to be thrown in order to even really get this going. $350, $350,000, is that enough for each individual person whose family descended from free labor, from slavery, being in bondage for ever so how many years? Generations? No, but it has to be. We have to have some blueprint. We got to start somewhere. That's my whole thing.
Right, and so that's where I'm getting at, though. I don't know if $350,000 one-time cash payment is enough, because $350,000 is not what it is. Not. It seems like it's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money in the grand scheme.
And is that going to be taxed? They got to tax that, right?
Right. So if they tax it, or they're going to.
Well, this income. They're taxing that. That's income.
They're going to tax it.
So taking home 280.
So absolutely not. So the answer is absolutely not. Now we can start talking about those the student loans, land. You know what I'm saying? You know how much land is in it? They act like this land is overpopulated. It's not. Man, it's so much. It's so much.
The coasts are overpopulated. There's so much land
in the
middle of them.
In between. Come on, man. It's insane.
Yeah, but okay. Wait a second. Wait. Well, hold on right now. Wiz.
Yes, sir.
Wiz. You're not moving to Idaho. You're not moving to Wyoming.
Yo, I would move to Montana, man. It's real bad out there. I'd move to Montana, man.
You give me my land. Yes.
Well, then again, you'll go as long as they got good fishing. You'll move to. So you'll go somewhere like Jacksonville, Wyoming.
Yeah,
they gotta have good fish.
That definitely helps. Oh, that definitely helps.
But I think Wiz made a good point though. Yeah. I think it's a combination of so we saw the number 14.7 trillion, right, Dante? Yeah, 14.7 trillion is less than what we spend in Iraq and less than what we spend in Afghanistan. So don't say you ain't got the money.
Yeah, they have the money.
Don't say you ain't got the money, even because we're $3 trillion in debt off top. Don't say you ain't got the money. But it's a combination of things. It's a combination of, maybe there's a cash payment, maybe there's student loan forgiveness, maybe there's you feeding some money into our schools, maybe there's some job training and some free college education for those that you have in prison and for those who are undereducated. You know, maybe there's some building up of some economic zones of which you already have right now, but some economic zone where you're putting some money into, all the neighborhoods around the HBCUs. Maybe you put some money into that, or maybe you give some money to HBCU. I think it's a multifaceted, like Wiz said, I think it's a multifaceted combination of starting with maybe a cash payment and student loans and morphing it into something else. I don't think it's a one size fits all thing, but I think there's so many different things you can do.
Well, and everyone's circumstance is different, right? There are some Black Americans who can trace their lineage back to slavery that they don't need $350,000. They just don't need it. Look, there's always a deacon that comes in late. There's always one that's always late for everything. My man Corey, what's going on, Corey? Welcome to the meeting. Chilling.
How you doing, fam?
Doing good.
So Corey, let me get your take on this reparations topic that we were talking about earlier. We talked about the $350,000 one-time payment. We talked about, who should get it. But what's your take on reparations as a whole?
I feel that everybody who's had an ancestor that was connected to the slave trade deserves reparations, period. Not even just for slavery, for Jim Crow, for all of that.
Yeah, because we talked about that earlier. We talked about, we can't just stop at what happened in we have to look at what happened between 1865 and, current. You can take it up to 1968, but it has to be up to current.
Redlining, all of that.
Yeah, all of that. There needs to be a penance paid for all of that. Everything that they've done to hold our community down, to really strip our community of its worth, of its wealth. There needs to be some sort of reparations. There needs to be some retribution for that. Somebody has to pay for that. And people say, well, I wasn't there when my relatives did it. Stop lying. Some of your relatives are still alive that did that shit. All right. Yeah,
true.
There's still some. I mean, because you talk about
slavery didn't end in 1865.
Some of you still doing it, and private prisons are slavery.
Correct.
Right. When you paying somebody 5 cents an hour, and you're getting labor off of them. And also, a lot of it is waste, man. When you talk about reparations, a lot of it is getting brothers out of jail who don't belong in jail, and then finding some kind of job program for them, and also setting them up. It's so many brothers in jail who ain't supposed to be there. And then you think about it, people are complaining about critical race theory, right? First of all, that's not a high school, middle school thing anyway. That's a college level thing anyway. But you don't want your kids upset talking about stuff you did. But hey, Ruby Bridges had to go through this. She had to walk into school and be the only person walking into school and have a rock.
And watch this. Watch this. Here's something crazy. Here's something crazy about Ruby Bridges that people don't realize. She's still alive. And so are the people that were spitting on her and cursing at her and calling her names as a little girl walking into that school. People need to realize that it's not that long ago.
No,
it wasn't that long ago that happened.
Those are the same people who was in Charlottesville, Virginia a couple years ago, right? Them the same people who was in Charlottesville, Virginia a couple years ago. Same people at Trump rallies right now. Same folk.
They say they don't want white people to experience the white guilt that comes with the slave history, but they never asked us how we felt about even hearing about our ancestors being in slavery.
Correct.
They didn't care about our take on that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they're more concerned about guilt than they are about self-esteem when it comes to us.
Yeah,
right.
And you see the chick who got Emmett Till killed. She's still alive, and they just found the warrant.
Right.
So you think about how long it was.
She's still here in North Carolina. She's still here in North Carolina. And here's the crazy thing. They just greenlit another Emmett Till movie. And I'm like, now let's talk about that. Like, I understand that we need to know history and that it's important to know history, but it seems like the only history they teach are the traumatic aspects of the history. They keep retelling the stories over and over again. Now, I was in DC a couple of weeks ago, and we went to the African American Museum, and we actually missed it. I'm telling you the truth. We were downstairs where the Emmett Till situation is in the museum. Yeah. And the line was so long. The line was so long. I was like, I can't go in there. It was just too long. So we decided not to look at it. But I keep saying, why do they keep teaching? By the way, everybody should go to the museum, by the way. Just go, because there's a lot of history starting at the bottom, going all the way to current day. Now, it drove me crazy that, they kind of went from the 1960s and then all of a sudden it kind of jumped to entertainment and how Black people are doing now in the bottom half. But there's a lot of information in that museum that I didn't know. Like, I didn't know that, I'm put up in a minute. I didn't know that New York, New Jersey were big on slavery. They actually were proponents of slavery, and Jersey had more slaves. And had more slaves at one point than they did in the South. A lot of people
Jersey
think that
was the last state in the Union to eradicate slavery.
Right. A lot of people,
after them was
Mississippi. I didn't know that.
After them was Mississippi, so that lets you know how deep they was in the slave trade.
It was absolutely crazy. When I read that, let me see if I have it. Here, I have it right here. Let me share this little crazy fact right here that
but you read the Missouri Compromise, Dante, because you and I have talked about that before.
Right. This told me everything I needed to know. 43% of the city's household depended upon slavery. In 1664, they had more enslaved residents than any other city in North America.
Right.
In North America, that's New York
and
City.
That's something that's never really talked about either.
It's never really talked about.
Yeah.
It's never hardly ever talked about. But why? Because they want you to think that, the Civil War was about the North versus the South. And it really was never about the North versus the South. It was about economics.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And so, it was mind-blowing, the stuff that, when you go there and you read it, you start reading everything that went on and how slavery really, it was a commodity.
Right.
It's a commodity. I'm getting crazy.
And Wiz, Corey, y'all probably gonna hit me in the mouth for this. You know what needs to be in the African American Museum?
What's that?
A copy of the Confederate States of America's Constitution. It mirrors the United States Constitution except for a few clauses. And the only differences are the letting a free state in a slave state and letting a free slave versus slave state. But and then of course all men being equal. But it mirrors the United States Constitution, 95% of it. And as Black people, we've never seen it. Just like most of us have never seen a Confederate flag, because the Confederate flag we see is a Confederate battle flag. It ain't the Confederate States of America flag. Is a whole different one. And it's amazing, man. I was driving through Virginia today because I actually drove to DC and back this weekend to celebrate my nephew. And it's still so much Robert E. Lee stuff all over the place, even though they took the statue down off the state's ground. But Robert E. Lee is still all over the state. And
all over the South.
all over. You know what I'm saying? And Stone and what's it in Georgia? Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Stone Mountain.
Henry Grady. Henry Grady is everywhere. The hospital, Grady. You know, I never knew what this was. You know, my wife is from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
And we were at a function a couple of years ago, and they were having a conversation about being Grady babies. Oh, you a Grady baby? Yeah, I'm a Grady baby. You a Grady baby? And then so I'm like, what is that? And they were saying, oh, that's Grady Hospital. But upon looking up Grady, the name Grady, it was Henry Grady, who was a hardcore white supremacist. And a lot of people who are going around bragging about being a damn Grady baby, they don't even know that.
Right. But it's the same in North Carolina, man. There are so many buildings that was named after Charles Aycock and others. And so many are on our universities and on our streets. Half of them are the HBCUs because they're state, 5 of them are state-supported schools. And so this white supremacist, this white supremacist, this white supremacist, their buildings are on HBCUs. You know? Yep. And so it's like
that's all done by design.
Exactly. All done by design. And America is the only country in the world, and Dante, you and I've talked about this too. America is the only country in the world where the losing side got memorials all over the place.
That's absolutely crazy. So speaking of losing sides, I'm going to transition the conversation a little bit because I see her down here puffing away. So she has a question, and she wanted to come in because she has a question, and so she's down. I'm gonna add her right now. Because she has a question for her. So y'all just know, get ready for it.
What's up, sis?
Ebbs.
How you doing?
Hey, guys.
What's up? Love to you.
Dante's lying. I did not have a
question. She coming in. She ain't got no question.
She already got her teeth. Hold it up, Dante.
That's first. I did not have a question.
What's up, sis? How you doing?
Nothing much. This is my relaxed day. I had
to
clean out my refrigerator because I usually don't cook, but when my boyfriend's out of town, I have to cook. So it's very frustrating for me. So I have to clean out my refrigerator before I
leave all that alone. That's a whole other conversation. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I'm coming back to you. Dante, next show.
Next show.
Corey, what's up, Corey? Let me just
what's going on?
What's up, Corey? What's going on?
How you doing, Ebony? You all right? You good?
I'm good.
What you sipping on?
I'm great. Oh, this is actually just an Arnold Palmer. Nothing major. I don't drink.
But ask her what's in the left. Yeah, but you see what's in the left hand though.
Oh, great. I am a super lightweight.
What you puffing on?
One shot and I'm done. This particular strain is called Pancake. It's a nice mellow strain. Keep your, like I usually go work out because then I have all this energy. So I go and like walk. I take the dog for like a mile long, 30-minute walk or so. And so he can come home and pass out.
All right. So getting back on topic, Eb, what is your take on reparations from a female perspective? What's your take on who should get it and where it should start?
So, that's really divided because, well, not really, because I think people who are actually descendants of slaves should be compensated for their ancestors' work. Since our ancestors weren't properly compensated, they can go on and give that to us. Whatever they give us, best be tax-free, because I'm not giving you back anything. I'm keeping it all. It's mine. And, but I think the easiest way to do it is a lot of people have already done their genealogy and some people know where they come from. I know where my oldest ancestor was born on a slave ship on the way to Germany, but that's just my maternal side. So I don't really know what's going on the other side because the Jordans haven't done the research, but the Slan family has done their research. So we know who we are on that side. And I think because I can trace myself directly to someone who was born into slavery. I think I'm entitled because he had 2 families. He was forced to create 2 families to have more kids and all this other. I think all of us should. But
and I think that's where Wayne.
You have have to figure out a way to verify that information.
So that gets back to Wayne's that gets back to Wayne's point earlier, that as long as you can trace your family back to 1865. But then
the question is, because like I can trace my family on one side, but I'm sure I can trace it on the other side. So do I get a double payment because I had two? Like, how does that work? Or it's just one? Because
they ain't trying to give
black. No, they ain't gonna be no double.
They ain't
trying to give one.
They don't want to give. Yeah, I'm about to say they don't want to give.
Okay, so if I get it, does my daughter also get it? So Camille gets a check too?
That's right.
He's a descendant.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question.
But then that means every black child born gets a check.
Because every black child.
Right. So hold on. So let's look at the numbers. I'm gonna put this Bob Johnson quote back up again, because what you just said actually makes a little bit of sense. So let me see what it says here. Hold on. Let me find it. I mean, now that I'm looking at the numbers, how many black people are in the? He's saying that 42 million people.
42 million black people.
42 million people are eligible descendants. So are there 42 million black people in the country?
Gotta be.
I wonder if it's 42 million. Well, I'm sure it's some and that's the other thing. Like, my nieces are mixed, so they get a half a check. Like, how does that work?
No, they're still descendants.
No,
that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Half of our descendants are mixed. I'm not light skinned because, you know, I'm a full descendant. I'm light skinned because you're a vampire. So I'm a half descendant. But I got a question to throw to all of you guys, because it's because you guys have all came up with the same point. Let me ask a question.
What?
So let me say this though, Wiz. Let me say this, Wiz. Let me say this, Corey. Let me say this, Ebbs. Let me ask you this question. We know, first of all, record keeping for black births were crap.
Mm-hmm.
Up until probably 1920, 1930.
My grandfather didn't even have a birth certificate.
Yeah, my grandmother.
So what if you can't trace yourself? What if you are a descendant but you can't trace yourself?
DNA.
You know, people get cut out.
You can do it through DNA.
Yeah.
I mean, DNA, you'll be able to do it. Ancestry will tell you that. They'll tell you where your family originated from and who in your family was here. And the census number, well, actually, believe it or not, they actually did well with the census back then, because they had to write everybody down in order for them to get paid.
Like, they were taking
it was property, so they had to write all that stuff down because of property rights in order to get paid for the property.
Impeccable records because it was about.
They really did do that. They really did. Terry talking about light skin.
He's light skin. The part that they didn't really fool with was like where they came from. They didn't care about that part.
Right.
Niggas is here now.
The one crazy thing with Ancestry.com, which is unbelievable to me, you can go back and look at the census way back then and see, black male or black Negro or whatever they called us back then.
Man, I'm nervous about Ancestry because they're going to find some way for all them DNA results to get to the police, and they're going to be hooking you up for crime.
Listen, that is the one thing stopping me, because what if I'm related to somebody that killed somebody? I don't want to turn that person.
That's not you.
That's not
everybody's related to somebody that kills
somebody.
Everybody
all got some.
Hey, let's keep it 100%, Sean. You don't want Ancestry because you don't want that. Hey, Dad, how you doing? Because the Ancestry.com is catching a whole bunch of people out there.
I mean, shoot, my last name is Cunningham, man. You can't get a more Irish name than Cunningham.
All them dudes, all them dudes that were doing dirt in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s got kids coming up right now.
My dad said, if I find a sibling, it ain't his. I'm like, whose else would it be?
Who else would it be?
Back up off of Pops.
Listen,
no, he said if I did find a sibling, they would be in Japan. So
the benefits of ancestry.
I possibly have a half Japanese sibling out there. I don't know.
Yeah, the benefits of ancestry is, it can bring you together, and it also can tear you apart. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen a lot of stories of, you don't need to take that test. My mom told me I didn't need to take the test. Come to find out,
mom don't want you to take that test.
Come find out my daddy's a black man.
Oh yeah,
that's hysterical. So now listen, we lost. Y'all crazy. So listen, we lost one of the goats today. Bill Russell. So I was thinking as I was out walking before the show, if I had to do my NBA my NBA goats, my list would be Bill, Wilt, MJ, Kobe, Kareem, Magic. And then I said to myself, why is Jerry West the damn logo? when he's not even a great. I know it's blasphemy because he's a Laker, but I'm thinking to myself, why?
So you can stop right there. Don't be talking about the Lakers like that.
You heard Corey right. You heard Corey right. I'm just saying, you heard Corey right.
Because it's Jerry West.
Because he's a white
man.
I guess.
He just so happened to come before Larry Bird. That's why he's the logo. If Larry Bird,
if it wasn't him, it would have been Larry Bird.
It would have been Larry Bird. Absolutely.
Wow.
It sure wouldn't have been Magic.
Oh
nope.
Nah.
It wouldn't have been Magic. Kareem.
No,
it would have been nobody you named on your list.
It wouldn't have been Bill. Exactly. It would never have been. Never.
Nah.
I mean, Bill with the 11 championships back then could not be the logo of the NBA because he was too much of an activist.
Well, that's exactly. Let's take the athlete completely out of it, man. He was just a man of character.
Right.
The brother was just a man of character. He was somebody who off the court epitomized class, stature, regalness, just pride. I mean, the dude was just everything, man. Off the court. Like when everybody getting this whole Jordan LeBron debate on who's the GOAT. I don't like Jordan. Never have. I'm from North Carolina. I don't like Jordan. Amazing players. I just don't like the man.
I don't like him as a person either.
I respect what LeBron does off the court.
Yeah,
I respect what Kareem has done off the court. I'm amazed by what Magic and Shaq has done business-wise off the court. So I respect their amazing playing ability. You can't take anything from it. But Russell, man, was just such a great dude off the court, man, who just stood up for black people and just stood up for it. He didn't care about speaking out. The whole time Michael Jordan played, you never heard him speak out on nothing. Now he's trying to build clinics and stuff and do all this stuff. You're doing that though because you're the Hornets on and you got to do a certain amount of stuff.
Nah, but wait. Let me correct you on something real quick though, because Mike has always given to the community, but he did it quietly because he didn't want everybody coming to him for everything. So you have to understand, if you go back and look at his history, he always gave. And he always gave to his foundation.
Those
that's
easy. He talked about it in his documentary, and
that's
he talked
easy
about
to
what
find.
his mom said too about it.
Right. His mother would tell you that because he did everything. He did everything through her. She didn't have no money.
I'm gonna have to see her.
Yo, that's not that hard to find out. That's not hard. That's not that hard.
Sean,
I did. I saw whatever the thing was. Whatever it was on ESPN. I saw that thing. I got tired of him because he just started talking about how good he was and how
ones go crazy.
He punked everybody, and I shut this guy down. I was like, man, sit down somewhere.
But he did. All right.
But I mean, he act like.
Okay, when you talk about a GOAT, right? When you talk about the GOAT, number one, it's so disrespectful because there's so many great players who played the game. You can't have one definitive GOAT because there's different positions. Number one.
Correct.
And a lot of these players didn't get a chance to play against each other.
Yeah.
Nor would they even have to guard each other because Kobe can't guard Kareem. Kareem can't guard Allen Iverson. You know what I'm saying? So when these respective players dominate their eras, guard Allen Iverson. No, absolutely. That was proven. We saw that.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you have all of these different players in these different eras, don't just say one GOAT.
That's why I named.
Why can't we praise all of these players for their individual greatness?
Because people talk about Tom Brady being the GOAT. He didn't have Lawrence Taylor chasing him.
Absolutely not. Now, if you want to say he's the GOAT, a GOAT quarterback, the GOAT of the quarterback, I won't argue that. But Lawrence Taylor, Deion Sanders, you know what I'm saying? These dudes are phenomenal athletes. Yeah. Ain't nowhere in the world you can just say one man who stands in a pocket in a shotgun and get a 5-second drop pass, a slant, throws 100 slants a game is the greatest football player ever.
You know what's crazy today? I saw OBJ talking junk to Lawrence Taylor today. They were at an event yesterday, and OBJ said, "Man, you lucky I wasn't playing during your era." And LT just looked at him like, "Really? Like really? What are you talking about, yo?"
You lucky.
When they can take your head off.
Hey, yo,
imagine, oh my God. Ronnie Lott. Oh my God. Those dudes.
Imagine if LT actually practiced, lifted weights, and wasn't snorting cocaine before every game.
Right.
LT would have been a monster.
Well, I don't know. The
cocaine might have helped him out, though.
Cocaine made him a little crazy in there.
Cocaine
wired him up a little more. Oh, man.
Every
that cocaine had him alert.
Yo, had him alert. LT was high as a kite his entire NFL.
Straight monster.
Yo, and also, man, I appreciate you bringing it up earlier too, man. Much respect to Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah, Nichelle Nichols.
Her beautiful sister. She inspired so many people like Mae Jefferson to go into science and math and be astronauts. And, I remember she was going to quit after the first year. Everybody heard the story. MLK called her and said, hey, you can't quit. You're such an inspiration. You're the only Black person on the show. I mean, we had Julian, and we had Bill Cosby and I Spy and those guys during that time as well. So not taking anything away from them.
Right.
But, man, Nichelle Nichols was just an amazing person. And people think Star Trek was her whole career, man. She was a singer and dancer on Broadway and in movies and stuff long before Star Trek came across. So, she's another one of those icons, man, who did it her way. So much respect to her.
Also want to give a RIP to Khalees because, she's so full of shit. She's so full of shit.
No, Khalees gone.
Yeah, she gone all right. She gone all right for real. She gone. She's out of her mind.
Oh, yeah, she ain't.
You talking about Nas' ex-wife?
Yeah, Nas' ex-wife. That
she ain't wrong with you.
Bro, she's out of she was going off the other day about not getting credit on Beyonce's album One, and Beyonce literally listed her in the credits, but you don't really get a phone call when you're sampled. To the first point. The second point is you were just listed as a performer. You didn't write it. You didn't produce it. So you don't own it as a performer. Right. You don't own nothing as a performer. Talk about she should have given me a phone call. So you just performed it. It's like a karaoke thing. The karaoke songs that says performed by, they're just a performer. They could have given that to anybody to perform. So cut the crap.
Did you say karaoke pimp? Did you say karaoke?
I did. They listen. Like people don't understand. Like the song "Milkshake" that she sang,
written to somebody else.
Britney Spears, and Britney Spears turned it down for her album, so they gave it to Khalees. So I'm like,
I think what happened is she jumped the gun. Had she been quiet and just waited to listen to it, I don't think she would have said anything.
Well, that too, because when they played the sample,
and
right,
you signed a shitty deal when you were 19. You're one of many, sweetheart. You're not the only one to have done that. And yes, correct. I literally do not listen to her first album because I don't want Pharrell getting a dime, and that's one of my favorite albums of all time. But it is what it is. You have a brand new life. You're doing something in a totally different field. You're very successful. Girl, just be glad people call you for old school stuff. Just be happy.
Ain't she a chef or something now?
Yeah, I'm like you're doing you have a totally different life from there. Just go to the old school concerts and sing your 3 songs. That's all you gotta do. Just go
sing your 3 songs. You and karaoke up here just wrong, both of y'all.
Hey, 3 is good. I didn't think she had 3.
3 is solid.
I didn't think she had 3.
How many people did we see at the Budweiser Superfest? It'd be 17 acts. Them niggas would get up there and sing 3 songs and be gone. Because we already there for 11 hours at a concert.
I like
Ebony just broke up.
I'm trying to think of her first album. I'm literally trying to, let me just pull it up. Shoot. Let me just, since I'm sitting here.
Kaleidoscope. Khalees Kaleidoscope.
So that was the first album?
That was the first album.
I can tell you nothing about Khalees.
Listen.
I used to like Kaleidoscope, but it was because I was a fan of the Neptunes. It didn't even have nothing to do with
it. Oh, yeah, the production,
yeah.
But I really liked her, and I really love that album, but I do not listen to it because I do not like Pharrell.
You don't like Pharrell?
No. You don't like Pharrell?
What made you not like Pharrell?
He's just not a good guy. He's a
what
great producer.
He's not a good guy.
You know what's like? I actually knew Pharrell back when I used to do music and shit. When I lived in Virginia, and he's weird.
He's not a good guy.
Oh, yeah, he's weird.
And that's okay. It's okay that he's not a good guy. It's totally fine.
What makes you say he's not a good guy? I never got that vibe from him.
He's not a good. First of all, look at the deal he did on Khalees.
Okay, first of all,
he did her kind of dirty.
Nah, let me tell you something.
He tried to do Marvin Gaye's family dirty. He literally stole that whole song from Marvin Gaye and tried to act like he did.
I will. She got it on that one.
You get that.
All right, well,
you damn sure tried to do that.
I can't even argue with that one. I'm not going to argue with you on that one. I don't even know.
We can agree that he's just not a good guy.
I didn't even know Khaleesi's first album was Kaleidoscope, to be honest with you. I always thought that I didn't know she had a career before Milkshake.
I never knew she had an album. I just thought she had an album.
Phenomenal. If y'all cool with Pharrell, then go ahead and listen to it. You will enjoy it. It has some bangers.
I mean, I like this album.
It's the production. Exactly.
I like this album because Glow is dope, Sugar Honey Iced Tea is dope, and Attention are dope. But all of those are written by Raphael
Sadiq, right?
Yeah,
he worked with her too. You can't lose with Raphael and Pharrell.
You know what? She should have been in Lucy Pearl. If she was in Lucy Pearl, we would still have Lucy.
Her voice ain't strong enough.
I thought this.
Her voice ain't strong enough. So have you guys? So let me ask real quick. I already know what the answer is going to be from three of you. I already know what the answer is going to be from a fourth person. Corey, have you listened to Beyonce's new album?
I have not.
Wayne, have you been forced to listen to Beyonce's new album?
My wife had it on, but I tuned it out.
What kind of answer? Yo, that is the answer.
Sound like a bunch of house music with I wasn't feeling it. And I know her and Drake are trying to do this. I don't know what they're trying to do, but I ain't feeling it.
Okay.
I'm gonna just keep.
If you can't dance, just say so.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with dancing. How can you dance to this shit anyway?
She literally made a dance album. When was the last time we had a dance album?
I thought
the last time we got a dance album was in the early 90s. Because people don't dance anymore. She gave us a dance album. So get your big ass up and shake it.
Now I'm gonna watch her, guys. I'm gonna watch her video.
We know that.
I'm watching her video.
We know that.
I can't wait for her video. Listening to Beyonce.
We know you gonna watch it.
I'm waiting on the video.
I don't even know why I'm asking Sean. I don't know why I'm asking Sean.
You knew I had heard it.
So Ebony, tell me what came in your Beyonce box that you told us about the other night. Did you
get it yet? I haven't gotten it yet. It gets here on Tuesday. It gets here on Tuesday. We could do a show and I would do a live unboxing.
What's the Beyonce box? What's that says?
Hold on. I live by people.
You got to hear this story about the Beyonce box. It's absolutely crazy. And by the way, get your calculator out real quick. Get your calculator out. Ebony, tell them what's in the box.
Okay, so it's the Renaissance box, and there are 4 different boxes. Each box has a different t-shirt with a different pose on it. So there are 4 different boxes that you can choose. It's the t-shirt. There's a CD, I think, and a book, like a lookbook. So it's just a Beyonce box.
How much was this box? How much
$50.
was each box? So $50 a box. Let's say she
if I go to the concert, I'm gonna buy a t-shirt, and that's gonna be $50.
Let's say she
I'm gonna buy a t-shirt and a book at the concert, and that's gonna be $100.
But let's say she sold 1 million of these boxes before she even sold a single damn CD.
Right. And she did. Most likely she did.
The Beehive gonna support.
Yeah.
Bruh, it is money, okay? That is
one of
the marketing employee is crazy.
Because each of these boxes has a copy of the CD in it. These are like album sales.
Correct. They're album sales too.
Get it, girl.
Correct.
Listen.
Oh, they marketing genius.
They be mad at
the marketing genius.
She was number 1 2 weeks ago. Her album was number 1 2 weeks ago.
Correct. So she knew she had.
Okay, guys. Ebbs is a part of the Beehive. She streamed that album at midnight.
Exactly.
I did not stream at midnight. I was asleep. I'm still old.
No, okay.
I'll be in the bed. 10 o'clock gets real tired.
So let's see that. So that went on this week. So everybody was talking about that album this week, and Khalees acting crazy. We got the Bill Russell thing out the way. We talked about reparations. What else we talking about tonight? Ebony, Ebony's been killing us. She's been killing us the last couple of days because she has. And forgive me for this. I'm going to retread on something we talked about the other day, but T.D. Jakes preached a sermon for Father's Day, and he talked about how America is raising women to be masculine. And that they have to stop that. If they want to find a man, they can't be a man. Basically,
is that really America raising them to be masculine?
Ebony, go ahead.
Really America doing that?
So here's my hot take, and this is what I said the other day. Y'all have daughters, right? Does everybody here have a daughter or have an influence in a young lady's life of some sort? Okay. Yes. Yeah. So what do you tell your daughter? Get up, get an education, get you a good job so you don't have to depend on nobody, right? Am I right? Am I right? That's not what you told your daughter. What'd you tell your daughter?
No. I just tell her to be the best person that she can be. That's it.
Pretty much.
That's it.
It's no thing of, I don't tell her, hey, do this so you ain't got to depend on no dude. Because I didn't grow up like that. I grew up with my father.
Women teach women that. Here's the thing.
Oops.
Tell what it really is, Sean.
Women teach women that. Let me tell you how you know. Me and Dante used to do these seminars nationwide. We would be in a different city every week. One of the things that we would say is, every woman in here has a secret stash of money that the dude sitting beside him don't know nothing about. And the dudes would all look at the women, and all the women would look at me like, Sean, you spilling the tea, shut up. And Dante would say, okay, if we're not telling the truth, your mother said to you, make sure you have some money that your man don't know nothing about. Back in the day, it used to be buried in a can in the backyard. Now it's a secret account or secret investment you got somewhere. That's what women tell women, because just in case something happens, you need to make sure you have your own money. That's what women tell women. Men don't tell women that. That ain't what we tell our daughters and our nieces and our great. We don't tell that. That came from women.
That's what my daddy told me. Because my daddy told me either you get it for yourself or ask me for it. Don't ask no nigga for nothing. That's what my daddy told me. I still ask my daddy for stuff and he give it to me.
So finish what you said.
Anyway, but no, to piggyback on what you said, Sean, yes, women do tell women that kind of stuff, but you have to think about why. Because there's always a why. Women couldn't have bank accounts until the 70s without a man's signature. We couldn't get credit cards. We could not get a home loan. We couldn't do these things. We had to have a man to do these things. So a lot of women that are grandmothers and great grandmothers, they didn't have a choice. So what they wanted us to know is that, yeah, this is a different world now, baby. You have a choice. You can, but you don't have to. We had to, but you don't.
They don't put that. You don't have the caveat on there. They don't put that. You don't have the caveat on there.
Who?
They don't. They say you. Who? They say do it. I ain't never heard a woman say don't have your own money. You can, but you don't.
No, I'm talking about having your own everything. Like our grandmothers couldn't without a man.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the clarification.
You have to. Now that you can do it, go ahead and do it. But if you choose to do the husband way, that's fine. But you can still do this on your own, and that was always encouraged for us. Always, always, always go to school, get a good education, get a good job. That was encouraged for us because they weren't allowed to do those things. So that's a part of the difference as well. It's a generational difference because nowadays women are allowed to do more things. And I think that when people like TD Jakes preach these sermons, they're not thinking about generationally how things have changed from when he was looking for a wife to now, because things are different from then to now too.
But to be fair to TD Jakes, women harped on this sermon. He also preached a sermon before that talking about we're raising a generation of men to be women. He preached the same sermon on both sides.
I don't think we're doing.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing, and I don't watch this. It's the same thing with Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels talked to men for years, never had any ratings whatsoever. Started talking to women. And I still think it was crazy that women would call the show because he would dog women out.
Absolutely. But
women would call the show, and then his ratings blew up when he started focusing on women. But he told men the same message: get your stuff together. You a 2, you're not a 10, et cetera, et cetera. You got a little penis and you ain't got no job, and you make $750 an hour, but you want to high value women. He told women the same thing for 3 to 4 years beforehand. He blew up when he started talking to women. He told men the same thing. He blew up when he started talking to women. TD Jakes preached the exact same sermon to men a couple years ago, where he talked about we're raising a generation of men to be women.
So, I don't think that's
nobody
true.
Nobody cared.
Look for it. Trust me, it is true.
I don't think
nobody
and I don't even like TD Jakes.
Wait, hold on, Corey. Why do you say nobody cared?
No, well, I'll say this: women didn't care.
Right.
That's
right.
True. Let's talk about it.
Women didn't care.
Because one of the things that you can't do is tell a woman how to raise her son, because she's going to raise him how she wants him
how
to
she
be.
Sees fit.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Only one that can interject in that is if that son got a father in his life.
Correct.
Or some positive male presence.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. It could be a school coach. It could be anybody.
Oh, right.
But yeah,
Dante, before we continue, a friend of mine said the comments are limited. I don't know nothing about that. I can't see the comments.
It shouldn't be limited.
I'm about to say, I can't see no comments in there either.
You know what? If they're on the Deacon Board page, so if they're on the actual Deacon Board page, they can go in and comment. They can't comment off of, if you shared it, they can't comment off of your page because it's not being shared directly to your personal page. So tell them to go to the actual podcast page and they can put the comments in there and we can see them and discuss them. So tell them apologies.
If you're still watching, Katrina, do that.
Yeah. Just go right to the Deacon Board page. Or you can go right to my page, or my personal page, and comment on my personal page. It'll be in there. But the link is there. What question did she have? We'll ask her question though straight up here. You know, we'll get into it. Man. So yeah, no, Eb. So then we got into the conversation of, you know, and the only one up here single is Sean. I don't want to put nobody's business out in the street, but you know, shit, we talked about Wayne's wife. We talked about your wife, Corey. So the only one that's single. The only one up here is single is Sean. So when you're out pursuing, act like I don't know.
You know too much.
Yo, act like I don't know. But what do you look for in a potential mate when you're out pursuing? Wait, before you answer that, listen. So, and Wayne, you know this, Ebony, you know this. You know, we used to do all these events all around the country, right? And so Sean did all the workshops. So he would have 1,000 people in there, but we would know who had his attention by who walked back in the room with him. If she walked back in the room with him, walked back in the room with him, I was like, yeah, because you know she either got a good job and he know it because she done told him something, or she might be cute. She might be a little cute, you know.
A little cute.
Happened, a little cute. But it never failed. It never failed because he was.
I was giving good customer service, and I don't appreciate the implications.
If this joker was in the room, actually sitting at a desk doing some work, I was like, yeah, we already know what the deal is, and then he's gonna take her out on the date later.
That's right, Sean. You know what to do.
See, thanks, Ed. See, that's why we family right there. That's why we've been family since day one.
They coming to you. It's a seminar. They coming to you. It's like fish in a barrel.
And the thing is, Negro, they already know I got a job.
Let me tell you something. This Negro, one time, we were on our way to lunch. We were on our way to lunch once, and we were walking down the hall. His phone rings. I'm getting on the escalator. Sean looks at me. He goes, "Hey man, I'll catch up with y'all tomorrow." I was like, "Tomorrow? We going to LA tomorrow?" Next thing I know, he calls me at like 6 a.m. talking about, yo, I'm getting on the plane right now to go to LA. I'm like, Sean, our flight's not until noon. Why are you going to LA now? This joker sat in LAX for like 5 hours waiting on us to get there. He just never went to sleep from his date.
Oh, I don't know what he's talking about. I have no recollection of that, Senator.
Senator, hi, you're gonna be a senator. But what do you look for?
You know what, man? You know, and it's funny that you asked that question because there's a couple of things, and this is kind of going to go to what kind of some of the TD Jake stuff. But there's a couple of things. First and foremost, and let's take the physical out because you know the first thing we're looking for is somebody who looks good. I'm a dude and I'm shallow. You got to be attractive.
Is that your ass or your mama half reindeer?
but the second thing is you want somebody honest in their dealings, man. You know, women, you hear women talk about how there are no good men out there. There are very few quality women out there. There's a lot of women who have never moved past hurt, never moved past trauma. There's a lot of bitter, you know, baby mamas. There's a lot of women who just ain't unpacked anything. And there's a lot of women who don't know how to communicate. And then they get into these debates on, you know, you want a man who's traditional in these aspects, but you want somebody modern in these aspects. Like a lot of chicks want you to pay for everything, but they want you to treat them as a traditional, as a contemporary woman. So do you want the traditional man, or do you want the contemporary man? Which do you want? And then the biggest thing you have is, I don't care nothing about your resume. Most men don't. Now let me qualify that. So many women will tell you, I got this degree, I got this degree, I got this bag, I got this. Men don't care about that. Do you bring peace? Do you make me laugh? Can we communicate? Can I openly say something to you without you getting in your feelings? If I'm saying, hey, baby, this is something I don't like about you. Are you mad about that? Or this is something I think you need to that we can work on. Can I come to
therapy?
Huh?
Have you been to therapy? Because you sound like an involved man.
But I listen, and I'm certified in conflict resolution, negotiation, and mediation. So
you sound like an evolved man.
But also,
I might have to find somebody for you.
Do your thing, sis. But also, one of the problems that women have is a man wants somebody who we can come home, we got some peace with, we can have a good time with. A man's relationships are this way. There's nothing ever good that comes from we need to talk. If me and Dante have a problem, the first thing Dante says is, hey, man, let's go get something to eat. We sit down and eat. We discuss everything. We good. 2 minutes later, we good. Women have that we need to talk situation and catch you the moment you're walking in the door. No man wants that.
That's terrible.
Give me 2 seconds to get in the door, have a conversation. Let's go somewhere, let's eat, and let's talk about it. But so many women can't hear that. And so many women, people think that this is the biggest misconception. A lot of women think that men are intimidated by successful women. No. A lot of successful women are rude. A lot of successful women say, I don't need a man. I can do this by myself. I don't need a man, whatever. Yeah, I want you in my life. The first thing a man needs to know is that you need him. Period. We need to cut.
It would be more of a want.
No. Want, see, that's the thing. Y'all have this misconception that I don't need a man, but I want him in my life as a compliment. That's not. My ex-girlfriend, I used to every Sunday, I would go to her house, pick up her car, go fill it up with gas, so she didn't have to do it during the week because she hated doing that. I take a trash out whenever I go to her house because if I see the trash cans full, that's what I do. A man needs to feel needed. If you don't need me, okay, at 2 o'clock in the morning when somebody come in the door, go down there and handle that then. Because Wiz's wife ain't looking that if a noise come in the middle of the night, she ain't like, okay, I don't need him. I'm going to go get up and go do this.
Definitely not.
We getting up in the middle of the night. The thing is, and women always want to bring in, the Bible says a man should provide and stuff. Men were the number one nurturers in a family. They were the nurturers of kids in the Bible. They were the nurturers. So the thing with women is that so many times they talk about, you're intimidated by this, and this, and this. No, I don't care about your car. I don't care about your job. I don't care about that. I don't care about how many degrees you have. I care about, are you a nice person? Are you going to treat me well? Am I going to have some peace? I'm not, because it's not a competition. I will pay every bill in the house. I do like the fact that you can pay all the bills. I do like the fact that if something happens to me, you can take care of our family. But I got this. But here's a debate I don't get into. Let me just say this. This is a debate I don't get into. Me and Dante's talked about this. If you believe a man should pay all the bills, get you a man that believes that too. If you believe a man should pay 50% of the bills, get a man that believes that. But stop getting with people who believe different from you and then arguing with them about what they believe.
See, that's exactly what I said the other night.
That's what you said to me,
and there needs to be balance. There needs to be. I said that to you before. You have to know what you know, and you get what you want, and you attract what you want. There's no. I don't think. And most men, we want to do. We want to do, and most women, quiet as it's kept, even the 6-figure chicks, they want a man that can do also.
Yes.
They want a man. Remember old girl that's a bad story to tell. Remember old girl in New York, the one that the attorney, and the dude was, she was making like 4, he was making like 32. And I'm like, there's no balance. You buy this $8 million, $3 million house you're looking at, and you die, how are you gonna pay for it?
Exactly.
You gotta get some balance in life. The people that you attract, you should bring the equal amount to the table. And it ain't always about the salary, but it's equal everything.
Yeah.
It's equal. You have to be equal. Whose dog is that?
That's mine, man.
I thought that was Ebony's dog.
No, that's
knocked out sleep. He done got a contact.
My bad. I just saw your dog.
Coltrane hides a kite right now. He already know.
Oh, he out.
Chilling.
Now he's gonna put the dog out. The dog is screaming because he want to come in. So yeah, it is. There's a lot. I don't know, man. That's just me. Wayne, what do you think, man? You're an old married man like me, so
I think the whole thing of opposites attract. People always, their expectations of someone is different when they get with them because you expect them to be a certain way based off of, what you're looking for, but it's normally never like that. You like people, you like maybe one or two things about a person, and that's good enough for you to jump in there, whether it's a physical thing, whether she can cook. Men are real simple. We don't really look at a woman to have all of the boxes checked right away. You know what I'm saying? We could just be, when we working 9 to 5 or whatever, we want to come home, chill, drink some, smoke some, maybe have a little chill time, watch a movie, sit back, relax, and get into bed. You know what I'm saying? But women are looking for things with more of a security attached to it, financial stability, what are your goals in life? Men, when we first meet a woman, again, we're not really thinking about what your goals are in life at that moment. It's the physical thing that draws us to you initially. That other stuff comes later on.
Sit down.
So, that the whole thing of men being raised to be effeminate, you can't paint a broad brush on everyone with that. That's why I don't like when I start hearing things like that, a big picture saying how, oh yeah, y'all raising men to be soft. And I mean, you do have that in some instances, but not all. And I don't think that's fair either way. The family dynamic needs to get back strong and being one unit the way it used to be, but everyone has their own careers and everyone makes their own money, and then you got, oh, you're not doing this, you're not meeting me halfway. That's unfortunately that's what it is. And you got to look at the age gap. People, it's a tricky situation either way you look at it.
All right. Well,
it's hard out there. I feel bad for these girls. I feel bad for the guys too, though. So it goes both ways for me.
It's both ways for sure.
I have a daughter and a nephew who are in the dating world, and both of them say the pool got pee in it.
So now let me ask a question. Let me ask a question. And this is since because I don't know nothing about this. I've been married 27 years, almost 20 years.
Be blessed that you don't know nothing about this.
Amen.
27.
Because I can tell some stories from my days of dating.
Really? Is that bad?
Oh my God. I have terrible stories. I have awful stories.
I got stories all over the place.
I went on a date that was so bad, I did not go on another date for 5 years.
Damn.
That's a shame now.
It was that bad. That bad.
I don't even want to know what happened.
Yeah, I want to know what happened. I actually want to know what happened. What happened? All right. Go ahead. You have the floor. Tell us what happened.
Okay, so I am a very adventurous type person when I get my mind to it. I know y'all gonna be like bullshit, but I am kind of shy and I don't really like. I'll talk. Let me mute
you. This lie you just stop. Let me mute you before you start lying. Okay, you're just lying. I'm here lying. Wayne, you hear this nonsense? Talking about she's shy.
Can you
we've known you for a long time. Wayne and I've known you a long time. So
no, like it's difficult to date. I'm a little socially awkward when it comes to dating because I wasn't allowed to be around boys because my dad was crazy. So in that area, it's a little dicey for me because I'm not used to it. Anyway, I read this book because I'm a dumbass called The Year of Yes. And in this book, this lady for 1 year said if anybody asks her out, whoever, no matter who they are, she's going to go on a date with them for 1 full year and just see what's out there, see what type of people are out there, whatever. And I said, you know what? That's a pretty good experiment. I'm going to try that. That was my first mistake. Yeah, right, Wayne, you right. Just put your head down. Like, what's wrong with you? But thinking back on it, it helped me because, like I said, I'm a little socially awkward when it comes to interacting with men sometimes. And it did kind of help because I opened myself up to someone maybe I would not have normally gone on a date with. Mm-hmm. So I went to, my brother is a chef. You guys know this. And
shout out to Boots, Harlem Biscuit Company. What's up, bro?
Right. He was doing some event planning and he had a booth set up and he asked me to come and work his booth. So I go and I literally ran smack into this man. We excused each other and whatever. So I went on and did my thing.
Hold on for 1 second. Hold on for 1 second. Did you say her brother's the Harlem Biscuit Company? That's
we went to his restaurant. You met her brother, Melvin, in
I met her brother, but I ain't been to the restaurant. Remember, you was telling me about it.
No, we went to his restaurant.
But you went to Fixins, right?
We went to Fixins in Sacramento.
Yes, we went to the Sacramento spot.
He's the executive chef of Fixins also.
Okay, yeah, I got it. We
met Melvin at the restaurant.
We met him, yeah, but I got to get up to Harlem because me and Dante had told me about this place several times, and I went to the website and saw the picture. Yeah, I got to get. I'm sorry, I'm greedy.
I mean, you'll fit in. You'll fit right in. You'll fit right in Harlem right now.
Really, pimp? That's what we doing.
Go ahead, Ebony.
Anyway, so he was a white man, and I would never even think of dating a white man.
Oh, well, see, that's where your first problem. Wait, I'm gonna stop this story right now. That's where your problem. No, let me not say that out loud. Go ahead, keep going.
We have a lot of women who are married to white men who are absolutely fine. This situation just wasn't for me. Anyway, fast forward. He asked me to dinner, and I said yes. He was so surprised that I said yes, and I was like, I don't understand why you would be surprised. You asked me a question and I answered the question. Like, that was weird for me. So we decide to meet. I don't let anybody pick me up because I have a child and I don't want nobody crazy and I got to shoot somebody out the window. So I told him, I'll meet you at the restaurant. And it was Ruth Chris in downtown San Diego, right by the water. I tipped the valet $20 to keep my car up front.
Was it the red car?
No, this is when I had my my 4Runner.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. So I go in and it's cool. It's, but it got weird because he got a little handsy and I don't like that. I don't know you, nigga. Your hands ain't clean. I got on cream colored pants. Don't touch me, yo. Don't do that. We don't even know each other.
He took you to Ruth Chris' first date.
Yeah. So there was a couple
of handsy date. Ruth Chris is a handsy date.
And it was their anniversary. And he said, oh, we need to be sitting like them. I'm like, because they were like snuggled up. It was their anniversary. I'm like,
all right. So can let's pause real quick. By a show of hands, how many of us think that Ruth Chris is not a handsy, not a first date type of place? Just say it's not really a first date type of place. I don't know, Corey, what you think, man? I can't. Are you moving? You frozen? What do you think? Okay, yeah, he's like, okay. Keep going, Ed. Listen, we're gonna tell you why he's handsy.
Why don't you think it's a first date kind of place?
Nah, not for a first date because we don't even know what you like, what you don't like type situation. So you go someplace that's not.
But you start out like
well done. I'm not a cretin.
Because if you set an expectation, so for example, and I'm just gonna be crazy, but you set an expectation. When a woman moves out of her father's or mother's house or out of her parents' house, shut up. When she moves out of her parents' house and moves into her own apartment, she'll never want to go back to her parents' house. And when she goes from a 1-apartment place to a 3-bedroom apartment, she'll want to go back to a 1-bedroom apartment. And when she goes to her own house, she'll never want to go back to an apartment.
Oh, so you saying Ruth Chris was too good for a first date?
No, I'm not saying it's too good. I'm saying it's hard to get backwards. You don't set a standard of $300 a night for a meal if you're gonna keep a $300 meal up.
Well, you know what, Sean? That's not a problem anyway because he paid with a gift card. Let me get there.
See,
what's wrong with that?
See, there you go, right there. But hold on, why is paying with a gift card? Why is paying? Hold on now. Now this is a whole other topic, Dante. we had a debate on this about 2 years ago on another page where this woman said, this dude, shut up. This dude, because my nephew's little rat dog is here. You know, see the Rottweiler's mine, the little rat dog. I'm babysitting. Come here. Come over here. So this woman said this dude took her out and paid with a gift card. And she said she'd never go out with him again. And I was like, why was that a problem? I said, because he had a gift card. You wouldn't know what, as long as he paid, you didn't pay. So why is that an issue? Help me understand that.
Oh, it wasn't an issue. I'm just saying, you were saying that's a lot of money.
You brought that up. You said he had a gift card. It was an issue.
That's what I'm saying. He paid with a gift card. It wasn't money. That's what I'm saying. So this money, this gift card was a gift to him. So he did not pay anything for the date. That's what I'm saying in that realm. It's like he didn't have to pay out his own pocket. Anyway, so
he did.
You didn't pay though.
You didn't pay. And you don't know where he got that. You don't know where he got that gift card from. Cut it out.
He told me.
It could have been a birthday.
No, listen.
You're special. He spent his birthday gift card on you.
Hey, you got a very nice dinner and did not pay. Why is that an issue?
I didn't say it was an issue.
No, yeah, you did. Your whole
brought up the gift
card.
I
said because you were saying that was a lot of money to spend on a first date. That's what you said, right?
Yes, okay. Was that an issue?
That was an issue, bro.
He wasn't spending his money.
Because we didn't have to know about the gift card.
Exactly. You put that out
there. You had to say that Ruth Chris was too good for a damn first date because
it is. Because my brother explained it.
Anyway, I'm worth Ruth Chris.
Is a place
I am.
Like. I'm not saying that I would never say that any woman's not worth anything. I'm just saying,
we're not saying that.
Chris isn't a place I'm trying to get to know you date. That's I'm celebrating knowing you date.
Where?
To me.
Well, maybe it was a celebration that I said yes.
Possibly.
Go ahead and tell us the rest of this date after the gift card, because we want to hear the rest of this.
I ordered my steak.
Yeah, what happened after the gift card?
I ordered asparagus. When we were eating, he asked if he could have some asparagus. So I get the fork to put his asparagus on his plate, and he just reached over and grabbed it and threw it on his plate with his hand.
Oh, that's Bruce Martin. I'm sorry, my bad.
It was a handsy situation, and I don't like that. Like, do not touch me. I don't know you. Like I said, I had on cream colored pants. Don't touch me. You just grabbed the asparagus. What's
y'all wasn't vibing, right? Y'all wasn't vibing.
They weren't vibing at all.
Before
you weren't vibing
at all.
Because if you was vibing, trust me, you wouldn't have tripped.
You wouldn't have cared. She wouldn't have cared that he touched her cream colored
pants.
And
of course, because it was my first date, I set an alarm in my brother's phone to call me at a certain time, just in case I needed to get away. Like, I gotta go. Like, damn. And my brother calls me drunk as all get out, talk about it's a alarm in my phone and said I was supposed to call you. I'm like, oh my God.
You didn't have him on speaker, did you?
That's what I was gonna say. Did you have him on speaker?
No, but he was loud. He was so loud. Because he was at a party. I left a party to go home and change and go on this date, and then I went back to the party in my date outfit, and everybody was like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "I don't want to talk about it." But anyway, so he asked me to take a walk with him on the water, and
I mean,
I felt bad because
he just spent money on you, Bruce Chris.
He took you to the Ruth Chris on the waterfront. There was a plan to walk on the water to get to know you, because women always say, I don't want to go to dinner and a movie. I want to go somewhere we can walk and talk and get to know each other. So he was going by the playbook.
Okay.
Abs, I wonder how this set you up.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just that I was not there. The whole experience was a 4 out of 10.
Right. How does this date end? How does this date end?
You was trying to get out of there.
So the date
she was trying to get out of there.
So we're walking, and he's trying to grab me and like put his arm around me and like, well, not even like around my shoulder, like around my waist, and like get me close to him. And bro, but Heisman all day, get back. I don't know you. Don't touch me like that. I don't know you.
What?
We just met. Like, no, don't do that.
You know what? That story is not traumatic enough for you not to date for 5 years.
My God, that was my.
I was like, this is
no, that wasn't.
Right. Wait, are you done? Are you done?
That wasn't. No, yeah. Well, he asked me to kiss him, and I started laughing real hard at the light. And then I took off when the light changed, and the valet had my car waiting with the keys in it. So I just jumped in it and left.
He was the one traumatized.
Yeah. 5
years. You turned him off of blackmail.
No, that wasn't the 5 years. And I was exaggerating when I said 5 years. It was not 5 years. I'm just saying you
turned that white man off.
Let me be dramatic.
All right.
I'm an Aries. We like the drama.
Yeah, a lot of drama.
But no, I did stop dating for a while though, because it just the people that I was meeting, it was weird. I was on a
San Diego. You're in San Diego.
I was on a dating website, and the guy who worked at my local Costco was also on this dating website. And I went to Costco one day, and I am like an old person in Costco. I like to go up each aisle. He saw me when I first walked in. He walked up each and every aisle with me. We had full conversation the whole time I was in Costco. He put my stuff on the conveyor belt. He put it back in the basket. He helped me put it in the car. When we got to my car, he said, well, it was very nice talking to you. I said, you too. He walked away. Didn't ask me for my number. I would have gave it to him. Didn't ask me for anything. But then when I went to the gym and I came home, and I had a notification from the app, and he messaged me on the app. And I'm like, I was right there in your face, though. Why didn't you? I was right there.
I have a question for you. Why didn't you slip? Hey, why don't you give me a call and take his number?
Because I am not that type of person.
Or maybe he's not that type of person either.
Right.
But he did it on the app.
I mean, that was easy for him to add. That was easy for him.
But also, he had a heart attack when me and my friend walked in because he had hit on both of us. So he didn't talk to either one of us after that.
But Ebbs, here's the thing with both of those. Women don't realize how sometimes difficult it is to cross a room to talk to you, or to, for dudes at a club, buy you a drink and then approach you. And that's why dudes buy a drink, because drinks are easy. A lot of times women think, okay, you just real easy for a dude to just go up and approach you, especially if there's a group of you. Because if there's a group of like 3 or more of you, he doesn't zero in on the one he like. But before he gets there, your girl done said, did you see his shoes? I wouldn't have had that shirt on. I don't understand why his hair is like that. So he already got 3 strikes before. He knows all this before he walks over there. So you have to have a certain amount of confidence. You got to make sure all your stuff is tight, and you got to make sure this is the one I want to talk to. And then the bad thing is you get over there, and the one you want to talk to got the attitude. The other one over here is the nice one. So it's not always easy to just cross the room and talk to a woman. Y'all think that's easy.
I can accept that. No, we don't think it's easy because it's not easy for us either. Like,
it's not easy for y'all, but y'all expect us to do that.
Well,
why didn't he get my number right then?
That's how gender roles are taught. That's what women are told.
But see, that's the thing. Women want gender roles thrown out in this part, but they want gender roles here in this part. That's the thing. I
don't want them at all. I don't care. I'll take out the trash.
But that's why men are so confused. Women will complain about, these guys sent me voice text. But then another woman say, well, voice text is nice. This woman will say, well, I like a dude to plan a date. Another woman say, why do you be so presumptuous and plan something for me? You didn't know if I was going to be off on Friday. Women, that's the thing. You get mixed signals across the bat for women. I want to do I had one woman tell me, I don't want you to pump my gas. I'm like, so, okay. I can pump my own gas. But another woman says, well, why come men don't open doors anymore? Because y'all tell us, half of y'all tell us this, another half tell you this, and wonder why men just look at you like this, like the dog.
Or if he's doing all that, he a little too nice. He a little too soft. I need a little edge. I've heard that shit.
I've heard that too. I
don't know how many times, and I'm like, what?
I've heard that too. Yeah. I think that's BS, but I have heard that too.
Mm-hmm. You're right. There is.
Or why didn't he try harder? I asked. He asked me out. I said no.
He gave up too easy.
He said no. And why he didn't ask again?
But then it's like, why does this dude keep stalking me? Why won't he leave me alone? But that's the thing. If it's Flavor Flav, it's stalking. If it's Idris Elba, it's flirtation. So it's you just never know, man. With women.
I've heard women say. I purposely got into an argument with him, and he didn't argue back. So that turned me off. I've heard that.
Yeah.
They wanted them to be like, all right, hey, look, This is what we're doing. Enough is enough. Let that shit go. Be quiet. We done with it. That's a turn on. That's a turn on for someone. But if you like, all right, man, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Let's let's not argue.
But you see how the ladies are?
That's so.
You see how the ladies are? They're like, oh, Idris, Idris can do no wrong. You know, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. You know,
I'm gonna need Tara to sit down somewhere.
That's the thing. Like,
Tara, I see you.
Are under the impression that the grass is gonna be greener elsewhere. No, his draw's gonna stink just like this dude's do.
You know, Idris don't wear deodorant. They say
the basics are going to be there.
Yo, he said Idris don't wear deodorant.
I heard it. That's what I heard. Idris don't wear deodorant.
He's Euro trash, right? He funky all the time.
Yeah, they don't wear deodorant.
See, so all you ladies in love with Idris just know he comes with the funk. Okay, he comes with the funk. Hey man, listen. So
I live for the funk.
You know what? Outside is the smell for black people too. We all know that. We all know that outside is definitely a smell.
Don't come in here smelling like outside.
Smelling like outside. Boy.
Smelling like the out daggone side.
A puppy. What about a puppy?
Oh, puppy. Little kids, we smell like puppies.
Wet. So listen, thank you all for joining us tonight, man. I ain't gonna talk about nobody. Listen, we had a good night with the Auxiliary, with Ed, with Wiz, with Sean. This is the Deacon Board Sunday night edition. Thank you all for coming in, man. Y'all be happy. Have a good night. Stay out of trouble. Wear your face condoms. Wear your face condoms. Stop spreading the daggone Rona. Y'all be easy.
Peace.